Okay, here we are, Jesse Trades, another interview. This is going to be an exciting one. I can feel it. So if you saw the last trade, I had my son with me, my 14-year-old son, and that was a great conversation that we had, and it was a good time. He's into trading, as also is my lovely wife. This is Courtney, and she's going to sit with me today and talk about trading, her trading past, the checkered past that she has back in the days when she was, no, not really. We started at the same time, but we'll get into that here in just a little bit. I'm here to welcome my lovely wife, Courtney. Hi, Courtney. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well.
All right, excellent. Very good. All right, so on a serious note, we've been trading, day trading, intraday trading since last October. So that would be October of 2025.
Correct.
All right. So for most people in the trading world community, that's like baby world kind of thing. So it's one of these things where we are, we've gotten our feet wet, but we've done far more than that. We've like jumped into the far end of the pool. We read books, we listen to podcasts, we trade every single day, we swing trade, we do all of these things. Let me ask you up front, what do you prefer, swing trading or day trading?
Well, day trading is a lot more fun. I would say swing trading can be a little bit easier. I think just because you have more time to think about things, and especially if you're patient, then with swing trading, you can really wait for a price zone. Although both are hard, and both I cannot do perfectly. So
Sure. Well, no one does. No one
yeah.
does. I mean, even the very best traders, no, everybody knows this is the one game you're probably going to lose a lot. I mean, that is you're not going to win every single trade, and every trader that's been around for any length period of time knows that this is not a game where you just, you're the New England Patriots of trading and you never lose. Like, especially retail day traders, that's not the name of the game here, right?
All traders, yeah, losing is a part of it. It's really comes down to probabilities. Yeah, which is kind of hard because if anything else you have like a 60% success rate with, like you're doing really bad. You're doing very poorly.
You're failing in school.
You're failing in school, yeah. So to be like, but 60% can be enough if your risk to reward is correct, then you're taking a lot of losses, and that's part of it. And yeah, so
yeah. Well, let's talk about that risk to reward, but specifically what you just said and what we are kind of touching on here, which is risk management, because that is in essence what I find, especially in reading like the Market Wizards books, talking to various traders. It's not just about how much can I win or how much can I just get out of the market. It's really about keeping that risk management in check. It's keeping those losses that all of us inevitably do get from time to time, or even daily as retail day traders. It's about keeping those losses minimal to the best of our abilities. Can you talk a little bit about risk management?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, the basic idea is if every time you lose a small amount, and then every time you win a much larger, multiple times more amount, then even though you're wrong a significant amount of the time, you can still come ahead profitable. So what that looks like in actual trading is trickier though, right? It's like, I want my losers to be smaller and my winners to be bigger. But that knowledge doesn't always help you manage the trade that you're in very well. But for me, I've tried to break that down into every trade I take. I have a set dollar amount I'm comfortable losing, especially with like what my daily loss limit is. And then sometimes even, I break my own rules and get into trouble and will take a position size that where my stop needs to be, my loss is going to be greater than what I'm comfortable with. But the more that you can dial into that and do, okay, I'm only going to lose $20 on this trade, that's all I'm willing to risk, then that's within your bounds, that's within what you're comfortable with. And then if you can take a couple of trades that way and lose that amount and still be okay. And then, so if you're risking $20 on a trade, then ideally you want to make at least $40 on that trade. And finding like the right entry and the right trade to where that makes sense and it's going to potentially go to that target that will make you $40. Like that's what the learning process is all about. That's what you're trying to, figure out what you like to trade, the way you like to trade, what system works for you, and then hopefully position yourself to where you think that the chart is going to go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good answer. Great answer. I'm gonna act like for a second like we don't know one another.
Okay.
Like we've never met before.
Oh, hi.
Wow, you're pretty. It's almost like we've had 6 kids together. Oh, I just feel so, I probably shouldn't say that.
Wow.
This is the first time we've met. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. Okay.
Would I slap you?
So
Maybe.
you probably would slap me, but you're being interviewed right now, so we would have like corporal, what is that? Body assault and battery. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Anyway, and of course people would look at me as the bad guy because I just hit on somebody who I just met, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you provoked her," and blah 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 blah. Anyway, here we go. So here's the question: we've never met before.
Okay.
The audience, people listening, they don't know your story.
Sure.
So, tell us about the beginnings of intraday day trading. How you got? How did you / we? But we're gonna pretend like it's just you here for a second.
Okay.
How did you get into trading, and what essentially led you to go? Hey, I'm a graphic designer, a mother, homemaker. You do all of these various things in life, which again I don't know about because I'm a stranger to you. But you do all of these things. Why would you go into intraday day trading? It's so difficult. It's so hard. What was the catalyst?
Sure. Okay. Well, if you want me to tell the true genesis of this story, person I've never met, my true intro to the stock market in general was finding out that my dad is an investor in the stock market, which he had been for years and years, and I never knew. I don't know. I guess he never thought that would be something that would be interesting to me. But when I found that out, I was like, what? Dad, you invest in the stock market? That's so cool. So I started asking questions. And yes, he loves to research. He loves to see what companies are doing, think about what company might do the next just brand new, groundbreaking type of thing. He's had a lot of good picks through the years. He's had some wins, had some losses, but he loves the game of it. He loves studying it. So finding that out, we decided to invest some things, and really I just took his research and invested in the things that he was invested in at the time, all of which went up from my starting position. So thanks, Dad. Good picks. I didn't manage them perfectly. We'll get into that. But originally they were all profitable from where I got in to where they went. And so I really didn't check it that often. It was just something that, I bought some stocks. I was invested. That was great. And then when our son turned 13, he could get an account through Fidelity, and he was really, really interested in investing. So he started investing some of the same stocks that my dad had told us about, but then he was watching them go up a few dollars and noticing they'd go down a few dollars, and he just started swing trading. He was buying and selling, and I was like, what? This is so cool. What are you doing? You're swing trading, you're making money. Why am I not doing that? So then that kind of got me interested in swing trading, and so I jumped on that bandwagon, had some success. Also bought a few things at the top because I didn't even know how to look at a chart at the time and see a whole history of a chart, or even the past month, to see, are we in blue skies? Is this the highest this has ever been? So I did get stuck in a couple positions because I had been buying and selling, and then I bought, just too high up. So that was fun. And then at the time, I think I initially saw a few things online about day trading. Excuse me. And so I looked at a video, and I was like, what? This is crazy. This swing trading thing you can do in an even more condensed amount of time. But it was all Greek to me. There was just too much. Wait, how do you do that so quickly? It was just a little overwhelming. So kind of shelved that idea. And then I think it was several months later that I was like, one more time, I'm just going to look into day trading. Something about that still fascinates me, even though I don't really understand it. So I found a YouTuber who was a really good educator, and I was like, this breaks it down and makes it seem not totally impossible. So I said to you, I think I really want to try this. And the time, that was pre-market. So it was going to also kind of change our schedule because I was going to need to get up earlier, and I was going to need to go to bed earlier. So I really wanted him to be on board. And he's like, okay, all right, let's try this. So we both began just deep dive studying. We were getting up really early and doing the pre-market thing and learning. I mean, we didn't know anything about indicators. We had to learn everything. It's like a whole new language when you've never traded before. What are you even trying to do? And right out of the gate, we did a couple, which is crazy now, a couple trades. We did one trade, like from the phone, watching a chart on the computer, and I think we made like $100. And we were like, oh, this is great. This is so easy. Like, this is awesome. And then we turned around and did another trade. I mean, we had not traded before. We just bought 100 shares of something. It was like moving. And our very next trade, I think we lost like 250. It was like, oh, we got to get out. We got to get out. How do we get out? Like, we were just not even familiar with the buttons. Anyway, it was a mess. We're like, okay, we have to pause and figure out what we're doing before we just start buying, which they do say like early success is like a really bad thing because it gives you false security. So then we really made it much more manageable, much smaller. We started trading in Webull. I think we put $100 in the account and we were just trading like one share at a time. So it would be like, hey, I made 20 cents. Like that felt
That was
good.
a big deal.
That was a big deal.
That was a big
yeah.
deal.
Like if you made $1, oh my gosh. Because at that point it really wasn't about the amount you're making. It's can we figure this out? Can we trade accurately? Which we weren't interested in just throwing a bunch of money out there and trying to, get rich. It was, we want to learn this system. We want to learn how people do this. And I think there's so much to be said for just practicing. And I mean, we found an online community. People were talking and sharing things, and that was helpful, but it was still like, wait, what? You're looking at yesterday's high? Like, there were so many things that the longer you're in it and the more you study, you're like, oh, yeah, duh. Like, we look at that now every day. But at the time, there's just a lot that's overwhelming because it's so new. So, yeah, we were trading in Webull, and actually we shared an account.
We did.
So, like, you took a couple good trades, and then I would take a bad trade or vice versa. And at some point, I was like, okay, listen. We have to get our own accounts, which kind of felt like breaking up to say. Like, we have to get our own accounts.
It's the closest we've come to breaking up in almost 20 years.
Because I'm like, we'll never know what we're doing well or what we're doing wrong. Like, we can't really analyze our own trades if we're, like, sharing an account. Because I don't want to mess up if you're having a good day, but I want to practice. And vice versa. Like, I don't want you to mess it up if I'm having a good day. It's like, we just need separate spaces so that we can really try this thing, which you were like, oh yeah. And now it's like, of course, that makes so much sense. Like,
yeah.
You can't trade in the same account, so don't do that, okay? If you're a newbie, just get your own account. So yeah, we did that, and then you were researching prop firms, which kind of opened a whole new door as far as trading goes. You found Trade the Pool, and so we got eval accounts with them. And then what was great about that is instead of just like buying one share and seeing these like really tiny numbers while you're trying to learn, we could buy more than one share, which is a little bit more satisfying, but still keep our risk really minimal because you buy this evaluation account, it costs X amount of dollars, and you're not going to lose any more than that. But then they give you 25,000 fake dollars to play with. And if you make a certain amount, I think it's 1,500, then they'll fund your account, and that will be with real money. And then there's a split. You make 70, they make 30, so it's a win-win. And while you're learning, whatever you bought that eval for, like $100 or whatever, is the max you're gonna risk. And you might be playing in that in months and get to see your P&L go up and down. And you can blow the account if you lose, I think, $1,000. Then that account, that eval's closed. But it's still a really, really good way to trade and to not risk a lot of capital and get to learn a lot. And then also, if you have $25,000 you're playing with, you have access to higher price stocks. You're not limited to just those pre-market, really cheap stocks. You can try different methodologies. You can go large caps. You can just expand what you're looking at. And I would say that pre-market, in my opinion, and my limited knowledge, the pre-market lower price stocks have a lot of high volatility, but they move a little bit less predictably, which I'm interested. I haven't done those in so long. Like, I want to see how they move and how I
So for just a note, we started off in our Webull account with more small caps. So anywhere priced stocks typically from $2 to about $25 a share. Something like that. And on occasion, we would even play with the penny stocks, which those are really difficult to figure out exactly what's going to happen next. We kind of got a little system going after we found somebody's strategy and playbook, but even then it was still, those are tough to call. But with Trade the Pool, it gave us access, like Courtney mentioned, it gave us access to a higher amount of money, so then we started trading in large caps.
Yeah, so those move a little bit nicer, well, depending on what you trade, because if you trade MU, that will burn you, can burn you.
It can burn you.
MU was a lot of fun to trade when it was around $200 and $300, and I can't believe we didn't just buy a bunch to swing trade it at the time. We just day traded that thing right on up. When it got around $500, it was like the whips were too great for me. I couldn't manage my risk. It was like, I love the way that thing moves, probably because it reminded me of those momentum stocks. But yeah, again, you have to manage your risk, and if you can't have a decent stop loss and know you're only risking X amount of dollars, then it just becomes gambling instead of probabilities, which is not how you want to trade.
Yeah.
Because trading really is not gambling, even though there is an element of you're never sure. You really are using confluence, which is looking at multiple indicators, waiting for a setup that you've seen before that usually acts a certain way, and then you're trying to keep your risk low. And if it's one of the times that it acts that way, hey, you're going to make money. And if it's not, then you're going to get out quick and wait for the next time. So yeah.
Yeah. What would you say are some of your maybe strategies that you are utilizing today in your day trading? What are some ways and what are some things that you're looking for? And like we just mentioned, we essentially both do trade large cap stocks. So those stocks could include MU, INTC, Marvell, Apple,
Sure.
the big players. But tell us a little bit about your strategy that you employ as of today.
Yeah, so as of late, I've just tried to focus in on one stock because I feel like it's a little bit easier to narrow down when you're trying to, you found a system and you're trying to work it. Just having one thing you're familiar with how it moves can give you a little bit of an edge because you're looking at it day over day. Still does not mean mastery. So yeah, the things I look for I do look for what it does in the very beginning of open. I try to not be impatient and to wait and see what direction it's going. There's opening like rejects, and then there's opening continuation that I kind of keep an eye on. And then aside from that, I also like to look at breakouts from what I call box consolidations. When a stock has been basing, it's kind of going in the same range, then I literally box it out with a little box, and then I'm looking for it to break above it or break below it. And then I also use volume to kind of give me confirmation to where is this a false breakout? Is this a real breakout? And so then look for continuation of, is this thing really going to go up or down? Seems like after it consolidates for a while, then a lot of times you will get a move out of that. And then there's just like different times where okay, it's already made this much of a move in this amount of time, and it's probably not going to do anything until this afternoon, or it's going to be a while, and that's kind of out of my window. So I would say there's a lot of ongoing discipline that needs to happen, because sometimes I'll even be like, it might just consolidate today based on what I saw in pre-market and what it did yesterday. So maybe I won't take any trades. But to not take any trades is just no fun. So I find myself like making a trade anyway. But I do tend to do better when I only take a couple of trades. If I've taken 2 to 3 trades, I'm probably having a green day. If I've taken 10, I've had a red day. But that's with me, and that's kind of how I like to trade. You are very different than that. More trades for you does not mean bad day, but for me, it's usually chasing.
Sure. Are there any notable trades in the past year that come to mind? Either like maybe one of your best trades that you took that come to mind, or perhaps maybe one of your worst trades that come to mind as you have developed now as a trader?
Okay, my worst trade.
Isn't that
That's
funny?
The first
That's
thing
the first thing that comes to mind is the bad one.
It
yeah.
is.
Well, that's if I may say, as you talk about that in a second, it's our worst trades that we really need to look at. It's the bad trades at night that I like to journal and look back through and say, okay, what did I do wrong here? Like, anyone can potentially. We don't really learn from our wins. I mean, this is obviously people have said this for years. Everyone knows this. You don't really learn as much typically from your wins as you do your losses. And if you can mitigate the losses or take a lesser loss in the future, that really will help you in the long run as a day trader. But go ahead and continue about this worst loss for you.
Take a lesson. So I was trading MU, and I was just convinced it was going down, and it went up a little, and then it went up a little bit more, and I had a stop, but I really didn't want to lose what it was going to make me lose when it hit my stop. So convinced that it would at least have to have a run down before it continued up, I just kept moving my stop loss and moving my stop loss until it blew my whole account. It was like just like that. I wasn't comfortable losing 100. I didn't want to lose 200. Okay, well then I lost 500. So it made me go, okay, I really can't ever move my stop. Like that really is important, an important part of risk management. Just if it's going against you, just take your loss. Just take it, get out, reevaluate. Hey, I could have seen I was going the wrong direction, and I could have made a lot of money going back the other way. I have learned through trading that I really hate to lose. I really hate it. It's like, which you have to. So you have to just embrace it and see it, like you said, as a lesson and a way to learn. And really not like, I think there's something about it feels like you've done something wrong or you failed if you lose. So in my own psyche, it's like hard for me to just accept loss. Like I just want to try a little harder. I want to push a little bit more. I don't want to accept defeat or failure. But in this, losing a trade is not defeat. Losing a trade is information. Losing a trade is, it's learning. It's, oh, it didn't work that time, but what did I see? Why did I trade it? Was it a valid entry? Was it not? Like you can have a trade that goes against you, but it's still a valid setup and you should have taken it, and you should take it 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 when you see it. It just didn't work out. So rewiring my brain a little bit to not see taking a loss as failure, but as just part of the process, I think is really important, because otherwise you're not going to last, because you do lose a lot. But I think the challenge of trading, that it is not easy, that you can have a good day and feel like I'm on top of the world. That was so fun. That was great. I had a great trade. I know something. And then the next day have your butt handed to you and be like, do I know anything at all? Like it's great. It's like, it's not so easy to master that you're just like, oh, it's no fun. It's like, no, mastery just completely eludes me. I have some success. I have some not success. There's some failures. So like wanting to be good at it, wanting to do better, wanting to improve. I think it's different every day. So that constant challenge makes it engaging, makes it fun, makes me want to come back for more, and do better.
I like what you said. Losing is just information. And it is information. It's information about how you didn't trade it right. Or sometimes when you get into a trade and maybe you had a good idea, but something happens outside of your control. Something happens outside of, if you're looking at say chart analysis, and it breaks the pattern that it was maybe supposed to make, which it does all the time. You didn't necessarily sometimes even take a bad trade. Now in the case of the stop loss, even the market wizards, there's certain market wizards that I've read and that we've read about that will be like, you have to keep your stop losses. Like you have to keep that and keep, not break that. That needs to be like your rule of, when this happens, I get out and then I get out. But it takes one time, usually, maybe more. But in your case, I think one, of blowing up your account within one trade that was a bad trade that, it'll humble you, right? So
I hope to never lose like that again. I hope I lose in more creative ways. Find a new way to lose.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to lose.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Okay, but so that was your way of that. That was your loss. Is there any good trade, your best trade, or a trade that comes to mind that you're like, oh yeah, that was a really good day, or this happened here where I averaged in a position, or I was down a couple $100 and then came back and I broke even? Is there any?
I'm not good at comebacks. I'm not. It's better for me to just tap out with a smaller loss and say that's enough for today than to try to get myself out of it, because usually I'll get close and then I'll do way more damage than in the beginning. But I think a good trade for me, not one stands out, but it's whenever I've followed my system and I don't take my first half too quickly. Because usually like I have a target of where I think it's going to go, and I'll get a little antsy and I'll try to take half just so I lock in profit and maybe can make the whole trade profitable a little too early. Like looking back, I let my runners run so much longer. They catch so much more of the move, and if I had all my shares in, it would have ended up being a better trade. So on those times where I'm content to let it ride, because the other thing that happens though is you're like, I'm going to let it ride, and then it doesn't go your way for very long, and then you end up like, okay, well, that could have been, if I had taken it quick enough, a winning trade, but it wasn't. It's like balancing when to stay in because it's gonna go your way, and when to just get out quick because it's really not there is another part of the challenge. But when I've seen it and I've stayed in with full size long enough to catch the big move with full size and then just let my runners run. That's successful. That's like, okay, good. I worked my system and I didn't get scared. I didn't let fear get me out. Like if you're seeing that it's not working, that's one thing. But if you're just like, I'm nervous, then I haven't traded well. I've been too emotional. So.
Sure. Now, if there's somebody out there that's listening to this, they've never traded before in their life, and they're like, wow, I stumbled on this talk, this very interesting interview with this pretty gal and this stranger interviewing her. No, this is the husband and wife, whatever. They come across this interview, and they're like, I'm interested in day trading. So could you, from your experience, can you advise that person what would be their first couple of steps if they were interested in getting their feet wet into pursuing trading?
Yeah, honestly, I would start with Trade the Pool. I would see online, I'd watch a couple of their videos, and then I'd just get an account and start trading, because some of it, when you're just learning, it's kind of like, wait, what? But then if you're practicing along with learning, then more and more things make sense. I feel like you can't just study trading for 2 years and then start trading, because there's such a, you can know in your head what to do, or you can look at a chart at the end of the day and be like, oh, this is what I should have done. But doing it in real time with the pressure, with things moving, is just very different. So I think the combination of trying, trading, if you don't want to do Trade the Pool, but I would say just then manage your capital very well, do super small share size, and know that you're not going to get it right away. I mean, you're just not. It's hard. It can be learned, but it takes a long time. So if you're looking at not making money immediately, but just trying to learn something that's challenging, that's a lot of fun, that has great potential, then start small. Learn and practice, keep learning, keep practicing.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay, let me ask one of these hallmarky questions.
Okay.
We know that obviously day trading, in and of itself, our end goal is to make money, right? It's to make as much money as we possibly can, because at the end of the day, isn't that what the markets are really about? But let me ask you this, Mrs. Courtney. I almost called Miss Courtney. Let me ask you this. How do you personally define success?
Oh, well, success.
What does success look like to you?
Yeah, success has nothing to do with the stock market to me. No, I think success is a life that you live, that you honor the Lord, and that He blesses. I think that's success. I think we have a very, very rich life with each other, with a happy marriage, with our children, with our family. I feel like, those are the things that make our life successful. We have peace, we have joy. This is just fun. This is a bonus. This is a potential way to have freedom in different areas, and I look forward to that, but it's not what makes every day like worth living or happy or any of that.
Yeah. And I would just add on, trading is an opportunity in life, right?
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Any other final closing words or thoughts that you may have as we've been chatting here for a little while?
Well, it's been a fun adventure. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. All right. Thank you all for listening. And another great interview on Jesse Trades.